Okay, this is the website enlist.inflibnet.ac.in. When you type this domain name, our web page will open up like this. This is the home page of Enlist. So Enlist is an acronym of National Library and Information Services Infrastructure for Scholarly Content. I think you can see my cursor. So the full form is given here, Enlist, and it's an initiative of the central government. It enables the researchers, those who are doing their MPhil and PhD, or any student to undertake research. Anybody who wishes to undertake research can access these resources. Now, you see three sections on your home page. On the extreme right, you have a section called Registered Members Login. Now, you need to log in by clicking on this link because there is another login here also. If you scroll, there is another login called administrator login, but you are not supposed to click this one because it belongs to the college administrator. Only they have been given access to log in from this. So you need to go to this section called Registered Members Login. When you click on this, another web page will open and you will be asked to write your username and password. Your email ID is your username. The email ID which you gave to us on WhatsApp. We have enrolled you through that email ID. So please do not use any other email ID. You might be having some other email ID, but the email ID which you gave to us, that is your user ID. So for example, I will write my email ID and I will enter my password and I will show you how different e-resources, the list of different e-resources will be visible to you. So for example, okay, this is my email ID and okay, the moment you write your email ID and password, this web page will open up and it has an index of all the publication houses, all the journals which are listed on N list. So they are arranged in alphabetical order. On the left hand side, you see e-journals, and on the right hand side, you have e-books. Now, you can see that this facility can be accessed by students studying in any discipline. So for example, you have American Institute of Physics. The students of physics can access their e-journals from this group. There are 18 titles in that. But being students of humanities, being students of English literature, you need to find out what are the available e-journals that can be of great help to you in your studies, because you need to write your assignments, you need to prepare your PPTs. So I will tell you how to search your journals. See, this JSTOR is one of the useful portals for your studies. It has more than 2,500 titles. So most of the students of English literature make use of JSTOR. Just click on this JSTOR and sometimes you need to create your separate user ID and password for this. like this. You can enroll with your user ID and password, or if you wish you can choose your another password also for this particular site, because there are a number of websites. Enlist is like Amazon. When you buy something from Amazon is a platform, but there are many different sellers on Amazon and Flipkart. So Enlist is like a platform, and there are different publication houses. So when you click on it, you will be redirected to their websites, and sometimes they would ask you to provide your credentials, user ID and password, and you can choose to uh, log in with your user ID and password, or you can change your password for that particular site. Okay, so this sometimes it happens. I need to write your I need to write my uh, user ID and password again. Okay, it will ask you something about your permission. Okay, so you see that this jstore.org is a different site. Uh, We accessed this site from Nlist. You can see my cursor that jstore.org is a site which we accessed with the use of Nlist. And I entered my user ID and the same password. I have not changed my password. The credentials with which I entered Enlist site, I entered it again to access this JSTOR site, and now you have this site. So for example, if you wish to search for Othello, you have this play by Shakespeare in your paper 401. And if you want to write an assignment on Othello, so suppose I write the term Othello here. Okay. And you see, there are more than 26,000 result, 26,500 results available for the term Othello. When you click here, it will show you some research articles, some journal entries. Okay. So you see, there is the first article by Patrick Hogan, Othello, Racism and Despair. I talked to you about racism in the play Othello. Othello was a black African Moor, and he was the commander in the eminently white Venetian army. And there are passages which can be analyzed from a post-colonial angle by talking about racism. So here there is one article. Then you see when chaos is come again, narrative and narrative analysis in Othello. You can download the PDF. You can save it in your JSTOR account. You need to sign in with your same user ID and password in order to create a JSTOR account. Sometimes what happens is that when you access a particular article and then you forget about it, when you access it next time, you lose a track of that particular article. So it would be better if you have downloaded it. Now, this JSTOR does not allow any article to be downloaded offline. You cannot download it on your PC, but you can always make an account on JSTOR. You can download that particular article and it will stay there. So whenever, for example, after 2 months or whenever you feel like accessing it again, you just need to go to your account, and the article will be there in your saved articles folder. So you don't need to search for it again and again, because as I told you, there are more than 26,000 articles. So you might lose track of it. Okay, so this way you can, the power of words. This is an interesting article uh, by Monica Beckner. The power of words. Othello as a storyteller. In the beginning of the play, in the first act, I told you how Desdemona was attracted towards to Othello. She was hypnotized by the way Othello narrated stories of his military expedition. And Shakespeare shows the Duke also saying that even my daughter would have run away with Othello if he narrated the stories of his military adventures in such an interesting manner. So you have an entire article on Othello as a storyteller. So when you write in your examination, when you write a question on Othello, this would be quite helpful to you. His way with words, how he hypnotized people with his storytelling abilities. Okay, so you see, you can access a number of articles on JSTOR. Othello, stranger in a strange land. So Othello was a black African Moor, and he was a commander in a European country. So he was a stranger in a strange land, and people did not trust him. So I think this website, this JSTOR alone would be of great help to the students of English literature. There are other resources, but they are more useful for science students. But for the humanity students, this website alone is sufficient. I'm not discouraging you from accessing other sources, but I am just mentioning my preference. So this is something which I have accessed over a period of time, and I found it quite useful. So for example, you have another Paradise Lost. Okay, just type the term Paradise Lost, and you find a number of articles on. There are 88,000 articles, research papers on Paradise Lost. The very first is the idea of Saturn as the hero of Paradise Lost. This question has always been asked in the university examination. Wherever there is Paradise Lost in the syllabus, you invariably have this question in the university examination whether Saturn is the actual hero of Paradise Lost or not. Because Milton has portrayed Saturn, the character of Saturn, in such great vivid detail that sometimes we are compelled to believe that the sympathy of Milton lies with Saturn, and uh, he is the real hero of Paradise Lost. So this first article would be quite helpful to you in writing your assignment, in writing your exam, in answering your question on the character of Saturn in university exam. So you can access a number of articles. Now these are all paid articles, as I told you in the beginning of my talk, but you are getting it. You have an access, all of us have an access to it, because we have been given this credentials, user ID and password, and you can access a number of documents. So you can narrow down your search. For example, okay, suppose you find a book chapter. You don't want to go for journal articles, and suppose you want to search only book chapter. So if you click here on book chapter, only The book chapters which deal with Paradise Lost will be available to you. So that is how you can narrow down your search. You can search images also, the images of Paradise Lost, then entire books on Paradise Lost. Some books are freely available on JSTOR. So the other students may not have an access to JSTOR website. So there are documents. Okay. So that is how you can search the books which have been prescribed in your syllabus, and you can download these articles. You can get it printed, okay, and you can make use of it. Now suppose if you want to make use of this article for a research purpose, you need to cite it. From where did you access this article? In your paper 406, you study research methodology, how to prepare a bibliography. The good thing about JSTOR is that it, on every page of the article, it would be printed when you accessed this article. The date and time would be printed by default on every article. So you don't need to remember the date of accession. When did you access this article? And the name of the website would also be printed on this. It would be there on every page of the article. So it becomes easy for you to cite when you make your PowerPoint presentation, because at the end of your PowerPoint presentation, you need to create a slide for reference the chapters or the journal articles which you have made use of. You need to acknowledge the sources. So at the end of your research article, at the end of your PPT assignment, you need to create a bibliography, works cited. And if you make use of this facility, it becomes easy for you to prepare that bibliography. Okay, so this is one website, JSTOR. I hope there are no issues with this. If you find something ambiguous, or if you want to ask something, please feel free to ask. Okay, so these are some of the journals. Oxford University Press has 262 titles. Cambridge University Press has 224 titles. Then on the right side of your screen, you can see e-books. Okay. For example, suppose I go to this Taylor and Francis ebooks. It has more than 1800 titles, and it's a very reputed publication house. Okay, so if you click on this Taylor Francis ebooks, you need to search with any particular term, and they will show you the list of uh, available books. And these are very expensive books. If you search on the net, each book costs, as I told you earlier, $1,000 or 2,000 rupees. Okay, so you just need to write the name of either author or title or keyword. For example, if you wish to search this Suppose you have uh, in the third unit of your paper 401, you need to write about the prominent features of epic. So if you just search with the keywords epic tradition, you have these many books. Okay, the epic film, epic music and epic films. You find a number of books on epic, but we need to narrow down our search if we want to uh, search classical epic, for example. Okay, so you see, now the first book that you get is Paradise Lost and the Classical Epic. Uh, we have been looking for this book because we have this Paradise Lost in our syllabus, and we need to examine Paradise Lost by keeping in mind the characteristic features of classical epic. So this book would be quite useful to you. If you click on this book, you find this bibliographic details. Okay, then the chapters are given over here, chapter 3, chapter 2. Okay, introduction. So this way, I'm not going into detail, but the more you explore this website, you will become familiar with different nuances of the e-resources that Enlist offers to you through different partner publication houses. And suppose if you are looking for an article and it is not available, you can request an article and Enlist will try to make it available to you through inter-university loan. There is something called inter-university loan. Suppose there is a particular article which is not available with Enlist, so they will solicit it from some other publication houses, and the amount will be paid by the government. Uh, each article that we access costs roughly around $15 to the Indian government. And recently we had a workshop on Enlist, and they told us about the statistics, how they try to get some articles from other European countries if the researchers demand it. Okay, so you see there is a message that your institution has not purchased this content. Your institution means Enlist in Flipnet. Please get in touch with your librarian to recommend this. Now, if you want this article, you can always forward your request, and that would be taken into account by Enlist administrators. Okay. So in this way, you can access certain books also. Now this is all about Enlist. I told you how you can access this website through your user ID and password. You must have got your user ID and password in your inbox. Click on the given link and you will be redirected to the InflibNet website. and by entering your user ID and password, you can access these e-resources. You can request an article through here also by clicking on this link. You need to submit the details, and that article would be made available to you if it is possible. Okay, so this is all about Enlist, and there is another website called archive.org. It is a free website for e-resources. You don't need to create any user ID or password, and you get a different variety of books and articles over there which are available in public domain, which do not have any copyright issues. So for example, if you write just Internet Archive, this is the site. It's an American digital library. You see, the Internet Archive is an American digital library with the stated mission of universal access to all knowledge. It provides free public access to collections of digitized materials. Okay, I go to this website, archive.org. Okay. So Internet Archive is a non-profit library of millions of free books, movies, software, music, websites, and more. Sometimes what happens is that, suppose if you write the term Paradise Lost and you get a collection of images or movies or other musical pieces, wherever the term paradise would come, it would show in the search result. So we need to use our discretion in finding out what we are looking for. Suppose if I write Paradise Lost, okay. Apart from Milton's epic, it would show many different things. There is an entry called Kashmir, the Lost Paradise. Okay, so this is an algorithm, and it does not know that we are looking for a particular epic by John Milton. So okay, it has redirected us to this another website called openlibrary.org. Uh, as I told you earlier that Amazon is a platform which houses a number of different sellers. Similarly, Internet Archive is also a platform, and you will be redirected to different websites. For example, this is an open library, and you get books. Okay. So since we are running short of time, I'm not going into detail, but there is another website called the National Digital Library. It is managed by IIT Kharagpur. So just search National Digital Library and you get a number of books. Then there is Project Gutenberg. The website has been created in memory of the man who first established printing press in Germany, and he printed a copy of Bible. It was the first printed book in the history of the civilization. So in order to commemorate that event, this website has been created, Gutenberg.com, and it also has a vast collection of publicly available books. Okay. need to sign Project Gutenberg. Okay, so you get the search results, Project Gutenberg free ebooks, and you can download these books also in the format which you like. Huh? Because sometimes we are more comfortable with EPUB rather than PDF. EPUB format is what is used in Amazon Kindle ebook reader. So depends on the user. Some users might want to access books in PDF version. Some want to go for EPUB. So you can search any book here. For example, I just write Othello. Uh, okay. So you see, you have number of books on Shakespearean tragedy. This is the book which is there in your syllabus. I hope you can see my cursor. Shakespearean tragedy, lectures on Hamlet, Othello, King Lear, and Macbeth. I have already shared this book with you on Microsoft Teams. But you can always make use of these resources. Suppose if you are captivated by Shakespearean tragedy, you can read other tragedies here also. Okay, so this is all that I had to say for free e-resources. If you have any doubts, just unmute your mic and let me know. हाँ हाँ चालू हाँ 2 मिनिट हाँ 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 यस प्लीज हाँ
You said that we have to cite in PPTs too. You
if you have made use of any quotations, you need to acknowledge the source of that quotation. You need to write the bibliographic details of that book. So at the end of your PPT, just create one slide on the websites which you have used, the books which you have referred to. Write the surname and name of the writer, the title of the book, place of publication, year of publication. You know about these things. So create a short bibliography. Uh,
Thank you, Vaibhav sir. And
Thank you,
I
ma'am.
hope the slide is visible, right, on
Yes, ma'am.
screen?
Ha,
Yeah,
ha.
so this, it had to go earlier, but then I'm extremely sorry that I had a class,
Alright.
and
Uh,
I'm extremely
uh,
thankful to Vaibhav sir. I know there is another question. Is it a question that Chitra asked? Do you have another question, Chitra? Chitra, do you have any other question? I think she doesn't have a question. So I must thank Vibhav sir for his wonderful presentation, and I must thank him for this, thinking about the students of masters to enroll them in uh, uh, in the enlist program. And students, as you know, we are in the age of knowledge, we are in the age of information, we are in the age of digitization, extreme I mean, probably you can call it digital renaissance today. and into it is a moment in the history that we require to go for digital resources, and I'm thankful to Vaibhav sir that he has thought about it. He is the one, and he is, as I have told you, that he is the administrator, he is the coordinator for IntelliNet. So I'm thankful to Vaibhav sir for taking out his time and giving you some information regarding Enlist. So thank you, Vaibhav sir. Thank you so much. Uh,
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. So,
Actually, I am thankful to you for giving me this space to address the students and uh, enabling them to make use of these e-resources. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah.
thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.